This is History Myths and Misconceptions. And today's myth is Boudica. Boudica, also known as Boudica and previously known as Boudicea, is a prominent character of the modern British folklore and nationalistic propaganda. Fortunately, it is not the worst example of promotion of an obscure and irrelevant figure to the forefront for the sake of the construction of national mythology. But still, there are a lot of misconceptions about this person, and in many ways, her fate in the last couple of centuries is quite typical. Boudica sometimes is seen as some sort of a hero of British independence, a noble Celtic queen who tried to resist Roman invaders. The problems here are numerous. First, everything we know of this person is coming only from two sources, and these sources are obviously Roman, because British Celtic tribes were illiterate and couldn't write histories, or anything. Second, Boudica is not related neither culturally nor ethnically to the majority of the current population of Britain. In some ways, it is possible that there are certain links to the modern Celtic nations of Britain, so you can kind of understand why, for example, Welsh people may see Boudica as some sort of an ancient hero. But at the same time, they can also see Vercingetorix as their hero, another prominent ancient Celtic freedom fighter, so to speak. He is probably more related to them than Boudica. We actually can't be 100% sure that Boudica ever existed. She can be a character made up, or largely made up, by Romans. All the information on Boudica is derived from the works of two ancient historians, Tacitus and Cassius Dio. It is usually considered that Cassius Dio, who was probably born something like 3 or 4 decades after the death of Tacitus, is kind of a secondary source compared to Tacitus and the surviving part of his annals. But it must be noted that the annals are quite possibly a Renaissance forgery. This is the opinion that exists for at least a couple of centuries now, and there are serious studies of the text itself and the fantastic circumstances of its rediscovery. Which means that it is entirely feasible that Cassius Dio is the only real source we have on Boudica. Plus, she is mentioned once in another work of Tacitus, Agricola. According to both our historians, Boudica was the queen of the local tribe of Iceni. We know next to nothing about Iceni. They pretty much vanished from history after the revolt of Boudica was crushed. But yes, it is assumed that they were the local Gauls. So Boudica raised an army of something like 230,000 men. Yeah, that's what Cassius Dio tells us, 230,000. This number is absolutely unrealistic, but it gives you a general idea of the reliability of this account. Rebels sacked at least 3 cities and killed dozens of thousands of people. The centerpiece of the description of this revolt in Cassius Dio is a long speech by Boudica herself. Imaginary speech, composed by Cassius Dio, who was following the tradition established by Thucydides. The author explains the motives of the historical figures through the monologues he writes from their standpoint. Boudica, or more precisely Cassius Dio, tells why the locals must rebel against Romans. And, unsurprisingly, says things like Nero, who, though in name a man, is in fact a woman, as is proved by his singing, lyre playing, and beautification of his person. So yeah, this Celtic or pseudo-Celtic queen accuses the Emperor of Rome of being, in fact, a girl, That's Roman literature. Much later, when the concept of nationalism was invented, this legendary Boudica earned a promotion based on the fact that she was born in Britain. Also, the specialists quickly discovered that the names used by Romans are in fact incorrect. She was not Boudicea, as Tacitus calls her. She was not Boudica, as Cassius Dio calls her. She was Boudica, and etymologically, that means victory. Since the country at the time was ruled by Queen Victoria, it made sense to emphasize that there was also this ancient Queen Victoria, Victoria of the Iceni tribe, which culminated in erection of statues of Boudica. The most famous statue of Boudica, riding a chariot, stands right now in the center of London, the same city that, according to Tacitus, she sacked, slaughtered all of the population that hadn't managed to escape during the evacuation, and then burned, possibly to the ground. Now this city is inhabited by people who have absolutely nothing in common with the tribe of Iceni. But Boudica is considered some sort of a national hero. Why not? Makes sense.